Do you see yourself as a riddle person? You good at riddles?
No, but I'll try.
Okay, well, I got a couple riddles for you. Let's see if you can get them. I got three. What has an eye but cannot see? I'll take two answers for that. Take three
An eye,
answers.
but
I just
cannot
thought of
see.
another one.
It's a word with the letter I, but
There's a
cannot
lot of
see.
words with the letter I.
Yeah, so there's a lot of answers. I don't know, a pickle.
Pickle. I was thinking like an actual EYE.
EYE. Okay.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know. What is it?
A needle has an eye. The eye of the storm. The one I just thought of while we were here is potatoes they grow eyes. They can't see. What about the more you take of me, the more you leave behind? What am I?
The more you take, the more you leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Footsteps.
Makes sense. Okay.
All right. So this one I think you're going to get. This is my favorite riddle of the three. What do you get when half a state rage quits racism?
Rage quits racism.
Mm-hmm. Half a state is just like, I'm done with this racism out.
Now you got me. I don't know.
You get today's topic, West Virginia. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Only Child Brothers podcast. I am Chaz.
I'm Cameron, the second born.
The second born. If you are new here, we trade off episodes, and today is my topic. We're going to talk about wild and wonderful West by God, Virginia. But before we get to that, up in Mountain State. Before we get to that, we are going to do a little bit comment corner. So as we've said on a previous episode, throughout the summer, we are going to compile some comments and do every few episodes, we'll hit some comments. I am pulling comments specifically from YouTube. So if you comment on any of our YouTube videos, I will see that and I can pull those in. Cameron, you are pulling comments from where?
TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. So if you leave a comment on our TikTok, any of the shorts on our TikTok or on our Instagram, Cameron will pull those. You said you have a couple. I pulled a couple. We have an episode today. These are notes on notes on notes. So I've kind of condensed a bunch of them. But you want to kick off? You got anything good in the chamber there from Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah. So TikTok, we had a short where we were talking about the Batman Christian Bale movies versus the Iron Man movies, the trilogies, right? And somebody said, personally, I have Guardians of the Galaxy at one. Not even relevant to the conversation being had, but okay. I mean, that's a good movie too.
Personally, I really like Citizen Kane or The Godfather, so just putting that out there.
Yeah, Max and Ruby was also good when I was a kid. Anyway,
Max. That's all I could say.
Yeah, one word an episode. That same short, another guy said, "No, Bale's Batman fights like a girl. Batfleck is the brawler Batman we deserve. If we had gotten the solo Batfleck movie with the detective work from Robert Pattinson, I guess that's what that is.
Robert
It would have
Pattinson.
cemented Batfleck in the singular best live action Batman."
Listen, I like Ben Affleck, and him as Daredevil using echolocation was basically more Batman than when he was Batman. So I don't have a problem with Batfleck. I just like the Nolan storylines better.
I did reply and say, I gotta say, man, my favorite Batman movie that I enjoyed the most was the newest one with Pattinson in it. It was just a really good movie.
It was good. We can't wait for that number 2 when it comes out in 50 years.
Right. And then I just have one more comment, because on one of the shorts we were talking about what generation has the best cartoons. Somebody just commented and said the 90s.
That's it, just the 90s.
It's the
All
90s.
Right, well, we got a lot of 90s. I talked a couple of those last time we talked comments. I kind of condensed several. comments from the cartoons through the decades episodes, and just got some 80s cartoons love for Voltron, He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Transformers, and some 70s cartoons love for Wacky Racers, Pink Panther, and Bananarama. So if you remember any of those, they got shout outs on YouTube. From the Marvel versus DC episode, someone said, I never realized how big a fan I am of Dutch angles.
Okay.
Yeah, Dutch angles, Thor 1. And then another person commented and said, there's more Dutch angles in Thor from 2011 than there are stars in all the space scenes combined. And
Yeah.
I did my research. The runtime for that movie is 115 minutes. That includes the mid-credit scene, the credits themselves. I don't remember if there's a post-credit scene, but let's knock 10 minutes off that for all the credits, and let's say it's a 105-minute runtime actual movie. There's roughly 150 Dutch angles, so there's one about every minute and a half, almost 2 minutes of a Dutch angle popping up. So basically every other shot is at an angle. So that's fun.
Wow.
Also from Marvel. Also from Marvel and DC, pretty much all the comments agreed. They were on your side that Marvel is better. I still don't think they're seeing the big picture. I still think right now Marvel's better movies, DC's better TV. And I think that's always how it's been. Maybe it'll change with Wonder Man and what's the Vision Quest and all those. And maybe James Gunn will come out throwing some hitters with the movies. But I think we got a decent slate coming up in Marvel movies. And I think DC's about to have its own problems as Paramount takes over Warner Brothers. So we'll see how that shakes out. Animal Showdown. What'd you say?
I agree.
No. Animal Showdown have sloths can actually move pretty fast when they want to, but it's such exertion that it will often cause them to starve to death because of the amount of calories used. Either way, it sounds like that sloth is losing that battle.
Yeah, whether it's the battle against himself or the raccoon.
Yeah, beat to death with a trash can lid, or, you just, because you move too fast.
You just drop dead. Heart attack, starve to death.
And then another person, they starved to death like that. I just ate a banana, but I moved my arm too quickly, so I starved to death. What a life. Another comment said, honey badger all day, because honey badger don't care.
Honey badger don't care. That's
Throwback.
it.
All right, Cameron. Well, for this episode, for those of you who do not know, I teach for a living, so I'm gonna dive into that a little bit. Hopefully, we all learn something today as we talk about our home state. I don't live there anymore, but West Virginia. So I'm just going to throw some things at you. You jump in, we'll talk about them. Just a little history when you're framing any episode, but specifically a history episode, which history, if I taught in an actual school system, history, I think, is what I would like to teach. So when you're teaching anything history, talking about a state today, it's hard to know where to start, right? Because that's going to frame your whole story that you tell. But we're just going to start in the year 1863. There's been turmoil between the two sides of Virginia, west and east, for a while now. 1863, we're smack dab in the middle of the Civil War. Over in London, they're living their best life. A1 steak sauce was just established. If you've ever looked on the bottle of A1 steak sauce, it was established in 1862. Good things happen around that time. Bad things as well, the Civil War. There are areas in the state of Virginia who don't feel they're adequately being represented by the government down in Richmond. Virginia decided to secede from the Union, and the western part of Virginia says, hold on a second, I don't know about this. So while the government of Virginia was away, I don't know, I didn't do that much research, maybe on vacation. We'll say on vacation because it's fun, and this is a fun podcast. But Virginia government goes on vacation. The western side of the state says, what if while they're gone, we just move the capital? So they move the capital to Wheeling, and with the official, some sketchy stuff happening here, but with the official capital in Wheeling, they reach out to Abraham Lincoln asking to be their own state. That is granted because it tips a little bit of the favor to the north during the Civil War, and West Virginia splits from Virginia, becoming the 35th state. Year 128 28 years later, me, and a mere 140 years later, you. That is the full history of West Virginia from inception to you and I being born. So what region, if you had to pick a region, north, south, Midwest, far west, what region would you say West Virginia is? This is a fun little topic of debate
What region of what, like
of the
America
United
or what?
States.
It'd be on the east, wouldn't it?
It's east, yeah, but usually, so I have family in Connecticut. I go visit family in Connecticut. Oh, you're from the South. You're from the South. And then I moved to Virginia. Everybody in Virginia, that's not the South. Which technically is Virginia really the South, but that's neither here nor there. I think you start hitting North Carolina, some of Virginia, but I don't see West Virginia as the North or the South. I kind of see it as its own thing.
It's kind of just in the middle, right?
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's changed now since the invent of the internet. Everything, everywhere you go is kind of the same, which really bums me out. A lot of places lose their unique culture, but I feel like growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, it was still its own place. And even going to like Tennessee and stuff, they had their own culture. Now it's just kind of bottled culture, and everything you go somewhere, it's the same plastic stickers you can buy in any other store. Nothing's unique anymore. But all that to say, I think if I was to have to explain West Virginia, I would say it's just Appalachia.
And the thing you said about the bottled culture, you're right to an extent.
Mm.
So, like, there's still a lot of stuff in West Virginia that you'll only find in West Virginia,
Oh,
like,
we'll get there.
yeah, we'll save that for here in a minute.
Yeah, I asked you to compile top 5 things that people should know about West Virginia. I'm hoping you're bringing some thunder. So we'll get
Sure,
there
yeah.
we'll get there in just a bit, because there are some truly West Virginia things um, that you're just not going to find anywhere else. But I feel like, I don't know, terms and music and stuff like that. When I was growing up, West Virginia was like 2 months behind. I'd talk to my cousin in Connecticut. He would use a phrase or talk about a song. I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then 2 months later, lo and behold, in West Virginia, we would get the culture. It's the only state actually fully in the Appalachian Mountains, which is interesting and makes for its own culture, makes for its own. I love some West Virginia, or just cryptids and uh, spooky things like that. It's got a real storytelling history. So we're not going to get into that today. But that is just something that if you are from West Virginia, it's probably some part of your DNA has been in that. And interesting enough, like I said, the North sees it as the South sees it as the North. But if you go to the top of the Northern Panhandle to go to Staten Island in New York, you would actually go south. So it stretches a good bit of the map on a globe. If you look at a paper map that's flat, is the Earth flat or is it round? What are we saying these days?
Definitely round.
Okay, good. Sometimes I like to test the waters to see what I'm dealing with here. But yeah, so since the Earth is round, when you look at a globe, the very tip of the northern panhandle is actually more northern than Staten Island, which is very southern New York. We live where we grew up. You still live very close to the New River Gorge. Like I said, there's a lot you can pull from a full state. So a lot of angles we can take. I'm mostly going to talk about kind of West Virginia as a whole, but of course where we grew up. Did you know how old the New River is, Cameron?
Oh, well, it's the second oldest river in the world. So,
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
I don't have a number, but I know it's the second oldest, second
Yeah.
to the Nile, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, when I looked it up, it said it was the third oldest. The Nile was like the fifth. So old. New River's older than according
It
to
just Did they change their mind? Like, what happened? I thought that was
according to what I looked up, there was one in Australia that's considered the oldest, and then one in France that is the second oldest, and then the New River listed as the third oldest. I thought, and I can look it up again while we're on here, but I thought, just like you did, second oldest in the Nile. So at some point, we've been taught that the New River is the Second oldest in the Nile is the oldest. Oldest rivers in the world. Let's see. Let's
We
just double
we were
check.
lied to.
Let me just double check my own double check. The oldest river in North America is the New River. So, regardless of what is the oldest in the world, the oldest in North America is the New River, which is pretty wild. Um, and the fact that it flows backwards. So, it's one of the very few rivers in the world that flows south to north instead of north to south, um, which is pretty insane. And of course, tourism. I mean, do you go to the New River often? You fish a lot.
Yeah, it's only about 5 minutes from where I live right now. I can just go right
Hmm.
down the hill and it's right there.
Down the hill. You talking about Bad Off Mountain?
Yes.
That thing's a beast of a hill. Uh,
It's not quite Bad Off Mountain yet. You get there before Bad
okay,
Off Mountain, but
gotcha. Okay,
it's out that way, Prince.
yeah. Do you ever go down to like the gully and watch people come in on rafts or anything like that? That's fun to do.
Down down there?
Hmm.
Or
Well, that would
I
be
had
at the gorge.
no, I've never went down there, like, to the gorge area where the river's at.
Hmm.
I have, but it's been a while, but, no, we do see every now and then, like, when me and dad go out and we're fishing on the raft down here in Prince,
Hmm.
we'll see a group of people, like, canoeing or kayaking or something,
Yeah, yeah.
which
It's
is
huge
crazy.
for recreation and it's so much fun. A lot of whitewater. Um,
Yes.
I don't know if you were with us. If you were very small, but we once went fishing in an inflatable, like little boat thing and accidentally went whitewater rafting. That was a fun time. Do you remember that? Maybe you were,
I don't know.
I
We
don't know
did
if you
that
were with us.
last year.
It's easy to do there.
It is.
Yeah. You just park the car one place, take the boat on the car, park the car one place, park another car somewhere else, and then just float the river. And especially with the new river, it's easy to find whitewater.
Mm.
Last year or year before last, my family went down to the bottom of the New River Gorge, and it was fun watching the rafters come in. My favorite one, we just saw a raft come in, and then about 40 seconds later, we saw a bunch of heads floating down the water. So they had all fell out of the boat, which is
That
terrifying, but
happened.
also fun.
Oh, yeah, people die from doing
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, if you fall out of the boat, just keep your leg. Don't put your legs down because they'll get caught under a rock and you'll get pulled down. Keep your legs like straight out. Just bounce off of whatever comes your way. Um, so talking about the New River Gorge, how many acres do you think that gorge spans? This blew my mind.
Oh, man. I don't, like, I don't even know. I'd say, like, thousands. I don't know.
70,000 acres between one mountain to the next. So it's a huge span that the New River Gorge covers. Um, and when you take that trip, so my family, like I said, I think it was last year, we went down to the bottom of the mountain. If you drive without the gorge, the gorge bridge. You drive to the bottom, you cross the little bridge at the bottom, and then you drive up the other side. It takes about an hour, but with the New River Gorge Bridge, it takes less than a minute. So that's wild. And when they built the bridge, it was the largest single arch suspension bridge or whatever it's called in the world at the time. And then China had to go and build one bigger. So it's no longer the biggest one. But it's still a marvel and again a huge place for outdoor rec. Bridge Day is really. Have you ever been to Bridge Day?
Never. Too
Me
many
either.
people.
I try to avoid large crowd things like that. But Bridge Day, people be jumping off the bridge, parasailing off the bridge,
Yeah, see, I don't want
bungee
nothing to do
jumping.
with that.
No, I don't want to do it, and I don't want to see it done incorrectly because more often than not, there's an incident on Bridge Day. So definitely don't want to be part of any of that. But if you've never been to the gorge, if you're an outdoors person, I definitely recommend checking out the outdoor gorge. How far is that from you? That's not far. What, half an hour?
Oh, give or take. Yeah.
Yeah. What, if someone's experiencing the gorge, they're in Fayetteville. What's, you're a food person. What are some top places to eat in Fayetteville? And why is Pies and Pints number one?
Well, you're gonna be surprised.
Oh,
So,
snap.
um, Pies and Pints I do have on here, and I just went there yesterday.
Hmm.
Um, love Pies and Pints. I believe it was actually on the Food Channel, that one in Fayetteville. Uh, great, great. Best wings you'll ever have. Pizza. I like to get the salad, the antipasta salad. They got
Mm.
good sandwiches.
Took a left turn there. Salad, antipasta salad.
It's so good, man. But,
Yeah.
there's also a place down there called the Secret Sandwich Society, and
Also been
it's a
on Food Network.
fairly yeah, it's a fairly new place. Um, they've been open, I don't know, what do you think, 10 years? They opened, like,
They,
years
yeah, they've been
ago,
open
and then
around 10 years. Their building burnt down, so they were closed for about, what, a year and a half,
yeah,
and had to
they
reopen.
rebuilt, and, honestly, when they first opened up, I didn't care for it, but now it's so good, and they have homemade French onion dip, homemade pickles, all kinds of stuff. Um,
So what you're saying is, if you don't like a restaurant, wait till it burns to the ground, and then it'll be
yeah,
phenomenal.
then give it a second chance. Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes.
Maybe.
Um, what else we got? We got, there's this new Mexican place called Tequila's.
I love it. We went there that time we went to the bottom of the gorge. We went there and he said, write us a Yelp review and get your whole family in here. It's like, oh, you must be a new restaurant.
Dude, and it's amazing. It's one of the
Yeah.
best ones we got in the 50-mile radius. It's amazing.
Hmm.
Tequilas, Pies and Pints, Secret Sandwich, the Cathedral Cafe. Have you ever been there?
Oh, never heard of it. No.
So it's in an old cathedral, you
Hmm.
know, and, they just have, like, little breakfast sandwiches, regular sandwiches. It's just a little cafe, a little simple type
Hmm.
thing, a little chill vibe. It's nice, man. I like that place too.
Dang, yes. Southern West Virginia is truly a beauty. We'll talk about, I've got some stats by state here that we'll talk about in a minute, which sheds a little bit of light on why I don't live there. But to go to visit is phenomenal. And if economy was a little different, then we might live there. But yeah, that's Fayetteville in and of itself. I feel like it's a little different now than it was when I was a child, but it's got great places to eat, great adventure companies, and I feel very I don't even know the word for it. I feel when I park my car, I drive a Subaru Forester with a tent on the top of it, a 4-person tent that just is on the top of my car at all times. And when I park in most parking lots that I've been to, it's definitely not the only Subaru, but it's one of the only vehicles out there with a tent on top of it, unless we are at the Overland Expo or a rooftop tent convention, something like that, or Fayetteville. When I pull into a parking lot at Fayetteville, I'm probably one of 20 Subaru Foresters, and I'm probably one of 6 with a rooftop tent. And probably all 20 of those have something on the roof, a kayak, something, bikes. So Fayetteville is a really cool place. It's high on my list. Lewisburg, West Virginia, which is where the fairgrounds are, was rated the coolest small town in America before. Has Fayetteville? Do you know if Fayetteville's gotten that?
They have. I believe they have. But
Have they?
Lewisburg is another yes, Lewisburg is another really, really nice town to visit. Just peaceful, fun to
Hmm.
walk around and just see what you can find down there.
I would say and of course, both of these towns that we're talking about, Fayetteville and Lewisburg, have both of these things. However, I would say if you're a more outdoorsy person, Fayetteville is it. If you are a more kind of history person, Lewisburg is really cool place for you to go. But Lewisburg also isn't far from the Greenbrier, and you got the Greenbrier Classic Golf Tournament. You have the fairgrounds there, so there's a whole lot to be done in Lewisburg. You go to Lewisburg often?
We just went, oh, Lord, what was it? I think it was last Saturday,
Okay, so real
about a
recent.
week ago. Yeah, we went. They had a chocolate festival down there, and they have a lot of events like that in Lewisburg, just
Mhm,
throughout the year. But basically, I went with my wife to be and her sister, and we just walked around. You buy a bunch of tickets, like $1 a
mhm.
ticket, and there's just a bunch of booths set up in these stores giving out different kinds of chocolate. And man, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Way to
You
do it.
talked about history, the
Mhm.
history aspect of Lewisburg. we went in one of the old buildings over there, and they were talking about, um, one of the women that actually worked for NASA. She's
Yeah.
from there, I guess, and they had
Yep.
her dressed, and, um, they
Katherine
talked about her
Johnson.
a little bit. Yeah, and they gave us some hot chocolate, and I gotta say it wasn't the greatest hot chocolate, but it
Did it
was
cost you a
it was a
ticket?
nice experience. It did cost us a ticket, but it was
That's the
okay, I
worst.
didn't mind it because it was a cool experience, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that is so cool. I mean, I know we're recording this ahead of time, but we live very, very close to where I was talking Civil War a minute ago, where the Civil War ended in Appomattox, the Appomattox courthouse, and we got to go to a event there recently where they recreated the ending of the Civil War, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the experiences and stuff like that is, in my opinion, I know it's probably a dying art, but what more places, especially like West Virginia, there's so much rich history and culture there. They need to lean into that a little bit more. Maybe that tourism will spike. Right now, it's pretty much tourism is just extreme sports. You want to climb the face of a mountain, you want to ride a bike 30 miles an hour down a mountain, you want to walk under a huge suspension bridge for a couple $100. But yeah, we'll get to those stats here in a minute. Mother's Day was invented in West Virginia. Did you know that?
Not know that.
Yeah, there's a lady in West Virginia who wanted to celebrate her mom. She invented Mother's Day and petitioned, and it became a national holiday. And then it became all about, hey, we have stuff for you to buy for your mom. And she didn't like how commercial it had become and tried to end it. She did not succeed, and we still have Mother's Day to this day. And since it's West Virginia, we should probably get mom something because, that's real soon.
It is coming up.
By the time this episode comes out, it's going to be like Mother's Day was yesterday or right around it. I don't know exactly when this will drop. Wild. Country roads and pepperoni rolls, part of our DNA as West Virginians. But like I said before, there are deep roots of folklore, supernatural stories, and cryptids may have to have their own episode. So we'll talk about that in the future. But just to hit you with some facts about West Virginia, if someone walks into a room and says, I have good news and I have bad news, what would you like first? What kind of person are you?
I like the bad news first.
Yep, same. Hit me with the bad news. So we're going to start with the bad news. We'll end with the good news. West Virginia usually ranks very low when it comes to public health and struggles in areas of obesity, smoking, heart disease, and opioid addiction.
Right. Yeah, that's
Just yes.
I believe, is it Huntington? That's like
Huntington's overdose
the
capital of the
heroin.
world.
Yes, or
Yeah.
was, I don't know if it still
What?
is, but
Yeah, it was. There was a documentary, a very short documentary called Heroin, but it was spelled with an E because it was like women who tried to. It covered three people: an EMT, a judge, and I hate that I can't remember who the last one was, but it followed them in Huntington in the midst of the. I think actually COVID changed things up where it's no longer the overdose capital of the world. I'm sure a lot of work has gone into those stats, like the work from those women. But heroin, I think it may be on YouTube now. Definitely worth a watch. Sadly, yes, that has played a huge part in West Virginia history, especially as coal mines decline, drug rates unfortunately go up. It has the second shortest life expectancy for a state. If you are born, raised, and die in West Virginia, you're expected to live 71-ish, like 71.4 years. Our grandparents are outrunning that a bit, though, so that's good news. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we do too. Can you take a shot as to what the number one is, since it's the second? West Virginia is the second shortest life expectancy.
Chicago,
So Illinois. Yep.
Illinois, yeah.
Illinois is a little bit higher. So when I think of stuff like this, I think fried foods, I think high smoking rates, kind of what we were talking about before: obesity, smoking rates, heart disease, drug issues. There is a saying when you talk about stats being from West Virginia, and that saying is thank goodness for Mississippi, because usually when I say West Virginia is close to the bottom or ranks almost worse in this, if you look, Thank God for Mississippi. Mississippi is going to rank a little bit worse. So Mississippi has a and if you're from Mississippi, God bless you. Mississippi's life expectancy is 70 years. So we edged them out by a year.
Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking with Chicago, but I didn't think it was
Probably
going to
that
be
it's
Mississippi.
Chicago itself. Illinois is a big state, but Chicago is, again, it may be different now, but when I was maybe 10 years ago, it was the number one murder capital, like the biggest city for murder in the United States. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. You don't make it past 70 because you're murdered in the street.
That could be it. Very possible.
Oh, West Virginia has a higher than average poverty rate, which usually ranks very low in household income and very high in percentage of the population receiving welfare. And I believe a lot of this ties into what we're going to talk about next, which is the economy. Economy diversity is very low with limited job types and lack of options outside of government, healthcare, and energy. Now, in my research, when I found that out, I got to thinking, and yeah, a lot of people I know that live in West Virginia work in the government, healthcare, or energy.
Yeah. Energy, I guess, goes for the coal mines.
Yes. Yep.
That's
Or
a big
anything to
part
do
of it.
with coal mines. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of. I have a lot of friends that work for the mines. Our mom worked for the government.
It's
Um,
I will say though, that's mom worked federal. This is talking federal and state.
okay, well, no, she was federal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean,
I think you know some people that work for the state government.
nobody comes to mind.
It's the Turnpike, Cameron.
Well, yeah,
The Turnpike
I
falls
work for the
under state.
turnpike. I don't really consider myself part of the government, though. I just hang signs.
Right. Yeah, that's when you talk government, it spans so much that, like, we talked tourism earlier, that's government. Anything to do with the road system's government. So that's why it kind of catches a lot of people. Is because those are some of the most common jobs, especially I feel like in southern West. I don't know when you get into northern West Virginia. When you get close to a border, I think it's, depending on the border, expands a little bit. Southern West Virginia border, maybe not so much because you're in Western Virginia there, which is pretty rural. But you get up towards, so I went to school in Morgantown. You get up towards there, 45 minutes across the border is Pittsburgh. So you could live in West Virginia, but work in or outside of Pittsburgh. And then when you get to the Eastern Panhandle, you're in Nova and DC area. So you could easily work in Northern Virginia or DC. But yeah, where you're at, I have some friends who work in entertainment because I used to work in a movie theater, school systems, stuff like that. But I guess public schools still government. So still state government.
There you go. Yeah, the turnpike, it was actually something I had on my list that I was going to talk about
Okay.
because I just had stuff.
Yeah, we're
You
coming
told
up
me to
on,
put stuff that
yep, coming up on
wait
Cameron's
on
top
that.
5
Okay.
things. Yeah. Let's just get to the good. Well, before we do that, population growth is plummeting in West Virginia. And I left because my wife's job at the time didn't exist in West Virginia. She was one of those people. We lived, probably 5 minutes from where you live now. And she drove
Yeah.
all the way to Virginia every day to work. So we eventually, a job opening came up here. There's a large university here, which is what I work for. So we moved here, and we've been here for a very long time. Our kids aren't even West Virginians. It's crazy. Our kids are born and raised in Virginia. But some of the lowest college attainment rates. So for all of the country, some of the lowest percentage of people who have college degrees. However, one of the highest high school grades in the graduate rates in the country. So more people from West Virginia graduate high school than almost any other state in the country, which I found very interesting.
Well, they make it so easy here. I mean, they just push you through. They
Yeah,
don't hardly let you fail,
No Child Left Behind. West Virginia took that very seriously. I was going to say in my research, a lot of people said it's because the standards are so low. It's real easy to comparatively to get out of high school. But honestly, now I just said I work for a university. So take that into consideration. But I will say, with the way the world is right now, if you're not like, I want this job that requires a degree, you don't have to go to college. When I grew up, that was the thing. When you finished high school, you have to go to college. There are so many jobs, good jobs, well-paying jobs, that you don't need a high school diploma or a college diploma for. I'm gonna be real with you. I work at a college, and I could do what I do right now. I have an undergrad. I have 2 master's degrees. I could do what I do right now with none of that. So just here's some debt for you to go do your job that you could do. So that's a conversation I have with my daughter all the time. She's only 9, but we still have that conversation all the time. You don't have to go to college. So when it says some of the lowest college attainment rates in the country, is that a negative, or are those people just starting out life not drowning in debt? I don't know.
Well, I fell victim to that statistic because I graduated high school
Mhm.
and I dropped out of college. So,
I mean, and you're sitting in your new house right now doing just fine. I feel like
yeah, I'm good.
about to get married.
Mhm.
Dang.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, man. The positives, at least positives in my eyes, West Virginia lands among the top when it comes to forest coverage, outdoor recreation, and park access. So it is one of the most forested states in the United States, which I think is really cool. You know, trees make oxygen and stuff, and we just keep cutting them down. Um, it would be even more forested if strip mining and mountaintop mining didn't start. But, we are where we are. And park access, I need to let you know, if you are from West Virginia, you need to know this. I did not know this leaving West Virginia. Other states, you have to pay to go to the park. You got a state park in Virginia, you're paying for it. We had to get a park pass because we go to the daggone state parks all the time, and they are not free outside of West Virginia. So hold on to that for as long as you can, because that's awesome that you can just roll up onto a park and go enjoy it for free. Don't let them change that law. Don't let them do it. I'm gonna look directly dead into the camera. If you're listening to this, just know I'm staring into your soul. Don't let them change that law. West Virginia consistently lands high on the list when it comes to affordable cost of living. I feel like you just bought a house. I haven't bought a house in West Virginia. I haven't bought a house anywhere in a long, long time. So maybe you can speak on this a little bit more, but I feel like their housing market is pretty much catching the rest of the country, which is way too much for houses.
Yeah, so, we definitely this house isn't worth what we got it for, like, realistically, and it's a nice house. I don't wanna say anything bad about it because I really like this house.
Because the
It's the
ghosts
nicest
will
house we
get you.
found. Yeah, it's the nicest house we found for the price, and, to get a house that you don't have to do a ton of work on, that's not gonna be falling apart a little bit when you buy it, you're probably looking at about 180 to 190, maybe 170. This house we got for, 139. So
Nice.
not a big house, but
Mhm.
it didn't have any huge problems when we got it. I mean, we had to do a little bit of stuff to it,
Killer. Yeah.
but, yeah, I mean, we got out pretty easily with this, and we got a carport, we got a shed outside, a little yard. Yeah, so, I mean, there's every now and then you'll find a pretty good deal, but it doesn't happen a lot.
We got our house in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And right now it's almost triple what we bought it for, which is insane. It's $100,000 per bedroom, which is dumb in my
Yeah.
opinion. And it would be great to sell this and move, but then you got to buy another house. Where are you going to go? Every other house this size, same cost. So yeah, the housing market's insane. And when it comes to affordable cost of living, I don't know. Everywhere's got a Walmart, and all Walmart prices are the same. So taxes are better in West Virginia. Um, Insurance for your car, fun fact, cheaper in Virginia. But at this point, I think all that comes out in the wash. I mean, comment and let me know how wrong I am. I had one economics class in high school. No, sorry, in college, and it taught me quickly I'm not economist. So actually, I had two. I had micro and macro, but long time ago. We're talking 2010, 2011. So I don't remember that. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast today. West Virginia also consistently ranks high in community outreach and volunteerism, which I think is awesome. Tennessee's the volunteer state, but West Virginia's got very, very strong communities. And historically, we'll see what the future holds, but historically, West Virginia has been a powerhouse when it comes to energy production with the coal mines. So that has 2008, I was a senior watching the news about all of the crashing ecosystems and economies around the United States, and we were a little bit insulated because we had the coal industry. Now, like I said, West Virginia is usually just a little bit behind the rest of the country when it comes to stuff, and I feel like that was one of those things where we left in 2012, and I feel like maybe 2013, maybe even 2012, it started to change with the coal mines being shut down and stuff like that. But Cameron, you're still there. I'm just reading things off a list of research. You are in it daily. What are your 5 things, whatever you came up with, your list of things that people should know about West Virginia?
We already touched on the restaurants, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't talk about Tudor's or Geno's.
Tudor's Biscuit World.
I mean, you're not gonna find a better biscuit, bro. Not around
Yeah.
here.
Well, we have Biscuitville it's a
I don't
North
like y'all's
Carolina
Tudor's.
company.
Oh, now see, that's just not right. Tudor's is 100% West Virginia,
That was
to my
100%. Yeah.
knowledge. Geno's, usually when you find a Geno's, it's in a Tudor's. They're connected, and
Wonder if it's
it's
the same
just
company.
yeah, must be right. Um, it's just I mean, it's a little Italian place. You get a pizza, you get salads, sandwiches, all that good stuff. Breadsticks, cheese
Gino's
sticks.
Pizza and Spaghetti.
Yes, spaghetti. I forgot about the spaghetti. We already talked about pies and pints. I feel like that's a big
Mm-hmm.
part of West Virginia too, just because we have the one in Fayetteville. I think there's one in Charleston, which is
We'll
our
say, yeah.
capital.
I think they have branched. You hadn't even mentioned the capital. We saw a cool city in South Carolina and said, we'll take that name. So we have Charleston, West
Yeah.
Virginia as our capital.
Also, Charleston, South Carolina is my honeymoon destination here in a
That's
couple
true.
weeks. So excited
Yeah.
for that. Shout out South Carolina.
Shout out. Pies and Pints, not to throw you off, but they also have a Lexington, Kentucky branch. So they've
I was
moved
gonna
out
say
of.
I think there's one in Ohio as
Oh,
well.
is there? Dang.
I believe so. But
Moving out.
they started here, so remember your roots. Yeah, best pizza place, in my opinion, in West Virginia. Hill and Holler's
So
up
good.
there too, which is in Lewisburg.
What is it?
Hill and Holler's, another good place.
Hill
It's
and
in
Holler.
Lewisburg.
Hmm.
I also got the pepperoni rolls. Everybody loves a pepperoni roll. That's a West Virginia thing, and it amazes me when people from out of state come here and they're like, "Oh, I want to try a pepperoni roll." You never had a calzone or a stromboli? I mean, it's kind of the same thing, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Smaller.
It's not that different. I believe pepperoni rolls were actually invented by it was something that coal miners' wives would make them for lunch back in the day, and that stems back to whenever, like hundreds of years ago. I don't know, whenever that started. I'm not a history buff like you are.
1847. No, I don't.
I would have believed you. Um, and I feel like you got to talk about. You mentioned the state parks slash national parks. So a big national park we have here is the aforementioned New River Gorge National Park.
Yeah, I didn't even
Um,
mention that's the newest national park and preserve in the country.
the new, hey, hence the name, New River Gorge. Oldest river, one of the oldest rivers, but newest park.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice place. There's a lot going on, a lot of trails. If you like to hike trails, there's several different trails you can hike. Beautiful views in all of them too. I think it's Long Point Trail. We did
Long
that one
Point
time.
Yep, overlooks the bridge.
Absolutely beautiful. Um,
No, it's
we also
fun
got it is fun.
doing Long
I
Point
really
with someone who's afraid of heights. That's fun.
It's also fun going with our mom who is terrified of snakes, and, we
See a black
saw
snake.
yeah, we saw she didn't see it, did she? She might have, I can't remember. It was a few years ago. Touching on state parks, we got Babcock, which is over in, kinda close to, like, Meadowbridge. I think
Mm-hmm.
you can get there
Shout out
from
Babcock.
Fayetteville. Yeah, Babcock's nice. You got the grist mill, you got
Mm-hmm.
the Glade Creek of Man, you got, Boley Lake up
Mm-hmm.
there.
Bully.
Um, and there's a few trails in there too you can hike. We got Grand View. You get an overlook of the New River.
Technically where my wife is
Different
from.
yeah? Just down the road from me as well, probably about the same distance as Fayetteville. No, not that far, a little bit closer, but, um, what else we got? We got, Pipestem.
Seems great.
Honestly, I don't even know if I've ever been to Pipestem, to be honest.
So with my dad's parents, I used to go to Pipestem and we would camp in their campground. They had an RV every year. So a lot of fantastic memories of Pipestem.
I know they have, zip lines now, I believe.
Yeah, that's new. We were not
They
ziplining
got
back in the
that.
90s.
I mean, they got a lot to do down there, I know, I've just never been, and I'm gonna try to go
Yeah.
sometime soon because it
Yeah,
seems
we'll
like a
go.
good
Let's
time.
go. Let's go ride the what is it? The Mountain Holler coaster, and then it's right outside of Pipestem. So then we'll just go to Pipestem.
Yeah, that's just off the, Athens exit, ain't it? That's how you get to it. Um, we got Blackwater Falls,
Also right there.
yeah, somewhere I believe I've been there 'cause fun fact, you can get on, westvirginiatourism.com and you can visit waterfall trails, and, you get free prizes from doing it. You don't have to pay anything to do it. The only thing you gotta pay for is gas, and, you just go and you hike and you get to see the waterfall, you check it in on the website, and after you get so many checked in, you get prizes.
That's
So, it's
awesome.
awesome. They also have a
Have
new
you
thing
gotten
where
any
you,
prizes?
I got a shirt, I got a sticker, and I got a water bottle.
Killer. That's awesome.
Um, and I haven't even got them all. There's still more prizes I can get. Um, what else? There's also, the swings.
Duh.
They have the West Virginia
Oh yeah.
swings, and you can go and check them in too now, and I haven't done that yet, but I'm trying to get Leah to do it with me.
Yeah.
Um,
Sweet. We've hit a couple. There's one at Babcock, one at the
there's one
Tamarack.
at Babcock, there's one at Tamarack, there's one at, they just put one in where's it at? I don't know, I can't even think of it right now. Um, but yeah, they're all over the place. You'll find one at most, if not all of the national or the state parks by now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, moving away from the state parks and stuff, we have just the outdoor sports, so if you like to be outside, you can fish. We talked about the rivers, if you like to trout fish, they stock all the creeks, most of the creeks, with rainbow trout, brook trout, brown trout, tiger trout, all that good stuff. Um, hunting, you can deer hunt, you can bear hunt, you can squirrel hunt, all kinds of game down here. They're actually trying to we have a bunch of elk that are released
Mm-hmm.
out into the wild. You can't hunt them yet, but I'd say, in the next 10 or so years, you'll probably be able to. Um, whitewater rafting, mentioned that earlier. You can do that down in, the New River Gorge. I think Ace Adventures also has that, which is down
Ace
in the
Adventure's
New
fun.
River Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that water park too
Mm-hmm.
in the big old lake. That's a good time. Um, and then just the people. I think the people around here, for the most part, are a pretty nice group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna run into rude people anywhere you go. I mean, that's just
That's
human
life.
nature. It's just every now and then you're gonna run into a rude person, but for the most part, I mean, just thinking about my neighbors. I just moved into this house. I've lived here uh close to close to 2 months, getting close to 2 months. Um, every one of them I met have been really nice, and, I wave at people just driving down the road. Good people, nice people. And you talked about the communities. We have strong communities. I go to the Salvation Army, and we, make food for people that don't really have the money to get it themselves. And, not I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but there's a lot of people that I see going in there helping out. And, that's nice, and that's not the only place that does that either. There's several places just in Beckley, our town,
Mm-hmm.
that does that. Um, and then, I mentioned the Turnpike earlier, my place of work. Um,
Where you
few
do your
places to
business.
visit. Yes, where I make my money, where how I pay for my bills. So this is not a sponsored video, by the way, by the Turnpike.
Visit West
But
Virginia. Pay for the road.
yes, pay for the road. And people, you might hate me for saying this, but the Turnpike, I'm thankful for it because that's where I get my money from.
Heck yeah.
Um, and there's stuff to do. You get places like I mentioned Athens exit. That's the Turnpike. You
Mm-hmm.
get to the holler coaster, whatever you called it earlier. You get to Pipestem.
Mountain Holler, I think.
Yeah. You got the travel plazas. They just rebuilt 2 of them. They're rebuilding another one right now, out towards Charleston, out that way. Um, it's those are kind of a tourist trap, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they have overpriced buckets of popcorn and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, the Turnpike, a good place to work. If you're from West Virginia, you know you know about the Turnpike, you know about the state road. A lot of good job opportunities just for
Yeah.
anybody, and there's stuff that
Also,
anybody can do.
yeah. Also keeps those state parks free. So you pay for the road, you get to go to the park for free.
Yep, and I think that's the only way it should be. Why would you have to pay to go to a park? It's stupid. I mean, that's something anybody should be able to go and enjoy whenever they want and not have to worry about paying.
Listen, I need you to have a conversation with the state of Virginia because we have a state park pass, but there's one park that's close to us that's really cool that the parking lot is outside of the park. So usually when you drive in, it's a little hang thing, and they see it and they just wave you on through. You don't have to pay. Here, we still have to pay, even though we have a state park pass because you park outside and then go in. Is what it is. I
Well,
have.
Virginia, if you're listening, this is my formal message. Make the parks free.
Make the
Be
parks
better.
free. Cameron said so.
Be better.
Do better, be better. I have 5 movies that I think everybody should watch to A, get an idea of what West Virginia is, and B, just a fun time watching movies that take place in West Virginia. There's a lot of movies filmed in West Virginia because of its kind of outdoor vibe. But these are specifically, and you're going to get a vibe of what kind of movies I like in here too. But number 1 is Mate One. Have you ever even heard of Mate One?
I've not. I was actually in a movie that was filmed in West Virginia. Fun
True. I
fact.
didn't put that one on my list because I've never seen it. I thought you quit. They said I don't
Yeah.
want to do this anymore.
Okay, yeah, let me rephrase that. I could have been in it. I was going to be in it, but I was an
Yeah,
impatient little kid, and they kept reshooting this scene. It was a 20-second scene, and they reshot it for 2 hours, and I was like,
that's the movie biz.
"It is," and I was like, "Mom, I don't wanna do this." And we just
You had a scene with Elizabeth Banks.
yeah, I talked to her. You jealous?
A
Shout out Elizabeth
little bit.
Banks. Um, yeah, I was complaining to my mom. I was, like, 7 years old, man. I was a little kid.
Mhm.
And, she was right behind me, and I didn't even know who she was. I just thought she was some random person. Um, but she's like, "Yeah, it's okay. I hate it too." She's just relating to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Matewan is the story of the Matewan Massacre, which is a true story about coal miners versus the Union and all of that fun stuff. The term redneck comes from that because when they went to attack, they put red bandanas around their neck so you knew you weren't killing your own people. If they were a redneck, if they had a redneck. October Sky, you know October Sky?
Mhm, Rocket
Yes,
Boys.
Homer Hickam. Yeah. So that's about some of the guys who made it out went to NASA. Homer Hickam, I believe, still is on the board of NASA or works for NASA. Number 3, not an actual story, but I love it all the same. Have you ever watched Logan Lucky?
Nah.
It's Adam Driver and Channing Tatum. It's so good. I highly recommend it. It is Steven Soderbergh who did all the Oceans movies. It's kind of got that vibe, but it takes place in West Virginia, Charlotte, and Lynchburg, Virginia. So I definitely recommend checking that one out. That's fun. We Are Marshall, of course, is a true story about the plane crash that killed all of the Marshall football players. Good movie, bad time in history. And then Dark Waters about chemical plants poisoning the West Virginia water system. So less than ideal. But if you want to get a rounded vibe of West Virginia, Logan Lucky, again, not a true story, but funny, and gives you some caricature versions of West Virginia people, but still it will give you an idea. But yeah, Mate One, October Sky, Logan Lucky, We Are Marshall, Dark Waters. Highly recommend.
You could
And
also
lastly,
play
last thing I have, do what?
I'm gonna say you could also play Fallout 76 and get an idea of West Virginia.
That'll give you the truest idea of West Virginia if you play Fallout 76. I never have. I have a Fallout game. 4? Maybe what came before 76? Okay, I have that one and I've played it a couple times. But yeah, like we said on the video game episode, who has time for that these days? I drop my kid off at school at 7:20, and then I start work at 7:30, and then I leave work around 5 or 5:30, and then it's time. My kids go to bed at 8, so we have a small window to do family together. Cameron, do you know any celebrities? Can you name any celebrities from West Virginia? This is the last thing I have.
Celebrities from West Virginia. Well, you got Steve Harvey. He's from
Got
Welch.
Steve Harvey. Yep.
Bill Withers was from, where was
Slab
Bill
Fork.
Withers from? Slab Fork, down past Leicester and all that. Um, Jerry West, the NBA logo, he was
NBA logo
from
himself.
Charleston.
I don't know. I know him from Morgantown, WVU ball.
He's from out that way somewhere. I'm not. That's all that's coming to mind right now. I know there's more, but that's all I can
I'm gonna
think
run
of.
through them real quick. I pulled 15, my top 15. Don Knotts, Barney Fife himself, is from Morgantown. There's Don Knotts Boulevard. Steve Harvey, Jennifer Garner, actress. She's from Charleston. I think
Did
she was
not know
recently
that.
in Charleston.
Wow.
Brad Dourif, I didn't know that name, so I looked him up. He's the voice of the Chucky doll. He is from West Virginia. So
Oh.
Chucky, the murderous doll, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Chris Sarandon, do you know who he is?
I don't.
He was once married to Susan Sarandon, but Chris Sarandon played Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas. He is from Beckley, West Virginia. Brad Paisley. Yeah. Brad Paisley, Bill Withers, like you mentioned, Michael W. Smith, he's a Christian singer. Jerry West, you mentioned, the NBA logo. Mary Lou Retton is from up Fairmont Way. She is a gymnast, Olympic gold winning gymnast. Randy Moss, NFL wide receiver, mostly for the Vikings. Nick Saban, one of the best college football coaches of all time, is from Fairmont area as well. Chuck Yeager, the first person to ever break the sound barrier. The airport there in Charleston's named after him. Homer Hickam, we mentioned, October Sky, and Katherine Johnson, you actually mentioned earlier, worked for NASA, helped them get to the moon, and you can see her story in the movie Hidden Figures.
Yes, I got to see her dress. It's pretty cool.
Get to see her dress. That is all I have for this episode. I know there's people out there like, why didn't you mention this? Or why didn't you mention this? It's such a big topic and we're already over time. So what do you want me to do? As always, if you have any comments for me to read, you can leave them on YouTube or Spotify. I will pull from Spotify once you guys start leaving comments on Spotify. You can also rate us 5 stars on Apple and leave a review, and I will read that review as a comment. You can hit up our socials, Cameron.
We got TikTok, Only Child Bros Pod, and we got Instagram, Only Child Bros, and you can hear my sweet, deep voice read your comments, and you can enjoy that.
You know you want that. Go ahead and give us a like a follow, a share, whatever, on YouTube, on Spotify, and on social. Go ahead and follow us because we're putting up, how often you throwing up shorts?
Just about every day. Sometimes I miss a day, but just about every day.
All the time. You're missing out if you're watching these full episodes and you're like, man, I really wish I could get just a short, funny clip. They're everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Go get them. Cameron, your episode is next. What are we talking next week?
The aforementioned cryptids in West Virginia. We got so many, man. So many to talk about.
There's like 20, dude. I mean, Appalachia is folklore world, and West Virginia is fully in Appalachia. So we'll get it. But again, like I said, that's all I got for this week. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time.